Hello passengers, welcome back to the Home Media Reviews, and happy 4th of July to all of my American viewers. Or hopefully it should be by the time this video comes out. And I'm doing something special. Instead of doing one DVD review, I'm doing two in one video. And if you may have seen a community post I did a few months ago, I was basically asking which home media release you would want me to look at first, since I would do Hooray for Thomas or Thomas's Sodor Celebration. Now originally I was going to have these be in their own separate videos, but then I thought, well I chose both for the same reason, so why not do both in the same video? Sounds fun, right? Plus that would make it extra special. So I chose these because 20 years ago, both of these releases were released for the 60th anniversary of the Railway series. 20 years later, it's now the 80th anniversary. So you all voted for me to look at Hooray for Thomas first, so yeah, I'll be taking a look at that first. So I chose both of these releases because, well, they're celebratory releases and, well, they were both released during an anniversary, and that's what I thought that I would do too. This doesn't really relate to 4th of July in any way. You know, I just thought it would be fun. And the cover of Hooray for Thomas, I think, is very intriguing. I like the blue background color, and then you got the bunting on the cover too. It honestly it kind of just looks special based on the cover. Oh wait, this intro actually says Railway Series instead of Railway Stories. I never noticed that until now. You learn something new every day.
It was an exciting day on the island of Sodor. Good morning, called Harold. Annie and Clarabelle were full of
Why
happy
is this
children.
a remix of Robert's Toby
Thomas
theme?
was taking the
You
egg
know,
and
I do
spoon
have a
race
question
of
about this episode.
I didn't know
You can see
eggs and
Bertie's
spoons had
eyes move in
races.
this episode, and he didn't have an
The
eye
children
mechanism
race
at the
with eggs on
time,
spoons,
so
said Bertie.
like, are the
winner gets a
moving
medal.
eyes
I wish
digital?
I could have a.
But
You need
like,
to win a race
I'm a
first,
little
whistled
confused.
Percy.
Can someone tell me in the comments, like,
I'll race you,
are
Thomas.
Bertie's eyes
The first
digital
one to
here,
the station
or
is the winner.
because like he doesn't
You're
have an
on,
eye
called
mechanism yet?
Thomas.
I don't
Ready,
think.
steady,
But yeah, just a question I have. Yeah, stock footage.
better hurry, Bertie.
Oh, by the way, I think they filmed that at the same
Thomas had
time
to
as
stop to
Bulgy
pick
Rides
up some
Again.
passengers.
Because, like, Trevor with the same cart is in the same position. It's the same set, too.
Better hurry,
And
Thomas.
like, they use a
Bertie as
shot
he
from
rattled
the
over
episode as
bridge.
well. And, I think in Bulgy Rides Again, I think it's only present in the widescreen crop, but you can see Thomas pulling some freight cars, on the left side of the screen.
Thomas was nearly at the station.
Wait, but
As
he just
drew
stopped
near
at
the
a station.
playing field, Thomas, the
That's
sports
stock
day
footage
medals
from
have been
Percy
left
Gets
in
It
my
Right.
office. And he waited eagerly for Thomas. He waited and waited.
Thomas never arrived, and there was Tiger
Thomas had
Moth.
forgotten
Look!
about the.
Wait,
he
they
was
just
thinking
yeah
about
they
the children.
didn't they just use the shot earlier?
I can't
And also
let
you
them
could see a
down.
tripod
I can't let them down.
attached to Thomas there.
At last, Thomas puffed back into the big station.
I forgot they said big station in
The
this
station
episode
master
instead
gave
of
Thomas's
Knapford.
driver the sets
Oh
on top
my
of
god,
him.
he's wearing his
Thank
crack
you, sir,
jacket
panted
model.
Thomas.
Oh yeah, also another thing, the children have colored irises.
The next medal
That's the
winner
first time
arrived
they
with
did
a
that in the
surprise
model
for
series.
Thomas. Small
Another
boy
thing
presented him
I
with a
noticed too is
gold
that
medal
the
on a red
not the
ribbon.
like Thomas's
You were
medal,
very helpful.
like
My
the medal
very
there,
own
like the
medal, said
entire
Thomas.
medal
Thank you.
is digital. Like
Three
not
cheers
just the
for
medal,
Thomas,
but
the
the
number
ribbon
one
that
engine.
it's attached
Hip,
to
hip,
as well. Like
hooray!
it's all
I still won
it's
the
all
race,
digital.
hooted Bertie.
Yeah, again, it's
Thomas
just
peeped happy.
like yeah, look at that. It's just like I never noticed that until a few months ago. And I was just so shocked, like, I thought only, like, the metal part of the medal was actually digital, not the ribbon, but no, the whole thing is digital. I never noticed that. Like, I literally never noticed that. And also you could see Nancy standing next to Bertie there.
Summer is a busy time on the island of Sodor.
Okay, I kind of like this theme a little bit better than that
Vacationers have so
Spencer's
much to
theme
see and
that
do.
Mike and Junior
There are
use.
trips to the seaside.
At least the brass instruments are put to good use here.
I'm on my way to pick up the brass band, replied Edward.
That's not
The
Edward,
concert
that's
is
Diesel.
tomorrow night.
We need a
Don't
rewrite of
crack
the
your
episode,
smoke
Diesel's
box,
Brass
Thomas.
Band. Hello, Diesel, said Mavis. What are you doing? I'm on my way to
Edward
pick up the
couldn't
brass
wait to hear the
band,
brass band
replied
play their
Diesel.
wonderful
The concert
music.
is tomorrow night.
He was so
alright.
excited about meeting Cranky had been watching.
Oh wait,
You
I know.
useless
Wait,
little
look at all the
engines are
seagulls on
always
Cranky
in
there.
the way. Poor
I never
Ed.
noticed those seagulls there. I
You
also
to
like
the
this
fitter's
shot
yard,
too.
and
I like how
Bertie
the
will have
camera's
to meet the
tilted.
brass Please, sir, pleaded Edward. Will the fitters be finished soon? Not soon enough. And
I'm
the
sorry,
band
like
can't wait.
the voice,
I'm
is,
sorry,
like I
Edward.
feel like that
Bertie
voice,
will take them
the
to the
face
concert.
too,
Edward
and
felt worse than
like
ever.
the face and the
Bertie
voice.
I'm stuck, he groaned. No.
I
Bertie
love
revved
that.
his engine, but
I
his
love that
wheels spun
improv.
round and round.
Yeah,
Edward
this
was
part
mended
doesn't
and
make
hooked up to his
sense.
coaches. I can hear music, said his driver.
That's not an SOS signal.
That's-
This is also one part that I think Mike and Junior did better because, like, they actually use an SOS signal instead of a random ditty.
The mu-
By now, Edward was mended and hooked up to his coaches. I can hear music, said his driver. That's not music, wheezed Edward. That's an alarm. And they raced off to the rescue.
But then
Delighted to see
again,
their old
if you
friend.
don't know Morse code, then
So
it
was
still
Bertie.
won't make sense.
I'll get you to the concert in time, Edward cried. Thank you, said the worried bandsman.
Wait, wasn't he pulling... Wait, I thought he was pulling 3 coaches in that other shot.
That
And also,
night,
another
the
thing too,
concert
what was
a
Edward
great
going to do
success.
before saving the band? Did he just abandon whatever he
Everyone
was gonna
loved
do
the
just to save the band? Like, what was Edward going to do? Was he going to, like, take his daily passenger train? But then, once he heard the band, he was just like, oh, screw my passengers, I'll go save the band instead. He probably wouldn't have thought that, but, like, really, what was Edward going to do?
The
Ew,
engines were
season
busy
6
taking
footage.
freight
Yeah,
and
this
dust
shot
made their
looks
axles
especially weird.
I can find her a beautiful place.
I knew it. It will be a piece of cake.
But refreshment stands don't live in cakes.
It's just my way of saying it will be fun and easy to find the right place, dear.
I like this interaction in the Japanese dub. It's cute.
僕なら素敵な場所を探せます。
ピーター・サムならそんなの朝飯前よね。
朝飯も食べないで探すんですか？
それは言葉のあやよ。あなたなら楽しく簡単にいい場所が見つけられるわ。
And the whispering waterfall.
Wait, are those digital sparkles on the waterfall there?
Thank you.
Again, I didn't
don't
notice
know
that
what to
before.
do. Peter Sam soon found Rusty. The storm had swept the shed onto the line.
A shed.
Driver says this shed is useless now.
It's not a shed, exclaimed Peter Sam. It's an old railway coach.
Yeah, this is a part of the episode
that
I
gave
don't
him an
understand.
idea.
How is it that only when Peter Sam shows up that like how does no one notice that that is clearly not a shed, it's
Back
a
at the
coach?
yards, his
Wait,
drivers
wait,
spoke
that's
to the
Victoria
hat.
from Thomas and
Peter Sam
Victoria.
thinks that I'll be proud to, sir.
That's
replied
not
Peter
the voice he
Sam.
had earlier.
Whispering waterfall.
Oh yeah, like I think the digital sparkles on the waterfall there. Yeah, I never noticed that
Peter
before.
Sam is a
I like that episode. It's nice that the refreshment lady got a sequel episode, and Bulgy too. I know, yeah, it's kind of crazy that Bulgy and the refreshment lady of all characters got sequel episodes. That's really nice. By the way, that title is a lie. There's no roller coaster. Why is the episode called Rheneas and the roller coaster? Wouldn't it make more sense if it was Rheneas the roller coaster?
One day, Sir Topham Hatt came
Like,
to see Rheneas.
because like the title implies
have
that
a
there's a
very
roller
important
coaster in the
job for
episode,
you,
but
he boomed.
there isn't.
An important job.
So the title
cried
feels a
Rheneas.
bit of a
thank
like
you, sir.
the title feels like a
You
bit of a
ought to
lie
take
to
some
me.
school training,
In
said
the
to
original
Rusty.
storyboards, Peter Sam
You
wanted
know
to
the
go back to
mountains better than
doing
any engine,
more
said
important
Rusty.
work. But then Rheneas in the final episode, he doesn't think he's good enough for the job. But like, that feels like a personality swap. It feels more like Peter Sam to doubt himself, and then Rheneas want to go back to doing more important work. Like, I don't know, it's like when you swap the roles of the characters, you swap their personalities, if that makes sense.
This is the Valley View, said his driver.
That's not what it was called in the last episode, and what a stupid name. But I do like the set, it's very nice. I also like the viaduct set here. Another thing, why are you standing outside the coach like that? Like, that's pretty dangerous. Like, yeah, why were the kids just like leaning up the coach like that? That's pretty dangerous. Like, they could just fall off. I mean, like, fall off, like, they could accidentally, like, fall off the bridge.
Suddenly, Rheneas was on the wrong track.
Oh no! This line is closed for repairs! Bust my buffers!
So why are you speeding up?
Careful, cried
Stop
Rusty,
and
the
go
track's
back to the
very
junction. Why are you speeding
Rheneas
up?
pushed down the mountain like a roller coaster.
Rheneas, this is 100%
The
your
children
fault.
cheered.
Like, you could have just stopped and went back. God, this looks so
The
weird.
children oohed and hawed.
I don't know what it is about the
Rheneas
tilted
chuffed
camera
and puffed
here.
as hard as he could.
There's something
He
about it that
steamed
looks
across the trestle
off.
bridge. He
Like,
was
it's
going
not
so
supposed to
fast
look like
Teacher
that.
nearly lost her
Oh
splash
my
under a
god,
waterfall.
I kind of don't like this.
Phew, said the teacher. Just in time for lunch.
Poor teacher.
It was the best
She didn't
trip
ask for
ever,
that.
cried the children.
She also doesn't
Her
even get
top
paid
hat
enough to
wasn't
do her
crossed
work.
with Rheneas. You gave the children a wonderful trip. You really are a very useful engine.
But it's your
Rheneas
fault
didn't
you
feel
put
like
all
a
those
little
kids in
engine
danger.
anymore.
You put all those innocent children in danger because you realized you were on the wrong track, so why didn't you stop? Yeah. Wait, it's conspiracy theory. Rheneas intentionally sped up just so that way the trip would be special. Like, that was on purpose. And Rheneas just didn't tell anyone. Here comes something that was very glaring to me when I watched the DVD for the first time.
It was May Day on the island of Sodor.
Yeah, they just used the same opening theme from
And
Rheneas and the
engines
roller
were
coaster.
celebrating.
Like, I prefer the Thomas's theme that Mike and Jr. did for the scene. It's so much
They
better.
knew there'd be music and lots
I actually
of fun.
used that variant of Thomas's theme in one of my intros.
The station was being decorated. Sir Topham
I didn't
Hatt
use
said
it,
that the
but
engines could be decorated
I was
too.
considering on doing that.
Wave.
Series 1 stock footage,
Thomas
gross.
peeped happily as
Oh
he
wait,
passed by.
oh yeah, there's Pegasus from Harold and the Flying Horse.
Thomas had a big red banner on his tanks.
That's not a banner.
Even Murdoch
That looks
was being
more like a
decorated,
ribbon or a
although he
bow.
was very-
We could have a contest for the best dressed engine.
suggested James.
Also, another thing too,
Just then,
like
Gordon
why was
shunted in.
like in the UK dub they say
contest?
competition, but
I'm
in the
bound
US
to win
dub they
any
say
contest.
contest. Like, why do you
You will
change
have
competition to
be decorated,
contest?
said James. This
I
is a
don't know. Like,
best-dressed engine
I don't really
contest.
understand that.
Not me. Decorations aren't dignified. Huh. Who cares about a contest anyway?
Clearly you do, because you're still complaining about
Further
it.
down his line,
Also,
a
remember
colorful
Thomas
banner
Meets the
was
Queen?
strung across the
You
bridge.
wore the royal arms when you transported the
Then,
Queen,
as
and
Gordon
you didn't
steamed
think that was
across the
undignified.
bridge, it came loose and wrapped around his firebox.
That's not a firebox, that's a
Gordon couldn't see the
smoke
line
box.
ahead.
I can't see!
He whistled loudly to his driver. Stop! You
No,
can't
Gordon,
stop,
let's put our
Gordon,"
passengers
his
in
driver called
danger.
back. You're the yes.
He just passed under that bridge like 20 seconds ago! And that was because they used stock footage in
Trevor
that
was
other
chugging
shot.
slowly. Trevor heard a whistle. He was going as fast as he could, but it wasn't fast enough.
Okay, that was really good music.
The apples were all smashed.
Who cares? It's not like it's ever brought up again. Like, what was really the point of that? Those apples are never mentioned
James was the last
again.
engine to join the contest.
Because the episode's almost over.
So, well, you're definitely the best-dressed engine, said James.
Oh, he said the title of the episode!
All the engines. Gordon was secretly pleased, but he didn't think it was dignified to say so. Silly Gordon.
Again, that was also another funny episode. I like that. Wait, there's no title card for the song.
There's so much to see on the island of Sodor. Waterfalls and windmills, valleys of green. All this and more on the island of Sodor. Carnival carpet for all to see.
God, the singing is so good here. Like, this feels nearly as tear-jerking as the island song.
Everyone wishing that I'll come back soon.
And then we cut to the main chorus, and that really good feeling I had is gone. And now I don't feel good anymore. That shot of Duck ramming Stepney. Oh, alternate shot of the runaway elephant there. Oh yes, the good part again. Also the fade, I wasn't really looking that time, but that was good. Ew, James and the Red Balloon. I hate that episode. I'm not kidding, I do. Wait, James is on narrow gauge tracks here. You know what, that song was actually not that bad. So that was Hooray for Thomas and Other Adventures. I mean, I don't really know where to start. Like, this is my favorite release that we've looked at so far. This DVD, honestly, it's actually a lot funnier than I remember it. I want to try to be brief, as I still have another review to do. Okay, I want to go through the episodes real quick. But then I have a theory regarding this DVD, which I think is very interesting. Wait a minute, I just noticed something. The description on the back of the DVD, like, in the episode, it's called the Best Dressed Engine Contest because it's the US dub. But on the back of the DVD, it says Best Dressed Competition. What is it with, like, the descriptions of US DVDs using UK terms, but then the episodes themselves using the American terms? I don't know, does that bother anyone else, or is it just me? Robert's rescores weren't bad. Michael Brandon's narration was really good on here. Some inconsistencies with character voices, but he was entertaining. Hooray for Thomas. I know people have talked about this before, but yeah, I really like this as a sequel episode to Thomas and Bertie's Great Race, and it also showing Thomas's development in the show at the time. Like, you know, cause he's winning the race, but then he drops the race to help bigger causes. Like he cared, like, it really, like, cause in season 1, yeah, he was very competitive, and if this story happened in season 1, Thomas would no doubt be, like, pissed that he would have to stop the race. Like, he would lose, and Bertie would win. But here, he forgets about the race. Like, he's more concerned about helping the children, which I think shows how selfless he really is. And that's really nice. I really don't know what else to say. I think I know it's not the UK dub, but yeah, I also like how in the UK dub they use an instrumental of Let's Have a Race. That's nice. But Robert's rescore here was also pretty good. Edward's brass band. I don't really have much to say about it. I mean, Edward's in character. And Robert's rescore, again, wasn't that bad. The Refreshment Lady stand, I think, was a really sweet episode. Because, like, again, it's just crazy to think about how the Refreshment Lady got a sequel episode. And yeah, again, I like how she was paired up with Peter Sam. I really like how Peter Sam's he goes out of his way to help the refreshment lady set up another refreshment stand. And like, yeah, he feels like he let her down and he doesn't feel useful. And yeah, he ends up finding a way to help the refreshment lady. I kind of like thinking about how like in season 4 he accidentally leaves the refreshment lady behind, and here it's like, hey, I'm sorry for leaving you behind. Here's a refreshment stand. It's like Peter Sam didn't have to go out of his way to do that, but that was a very selfless act of kindness, and that was very sweet. Rheneas and the roller coaster. Yeah, I don't really like the episode. And yeah, it's just not very interesting, especially when the end result is just kind of lame. Cause yeah, like in the original storyboards, like, it was trying to like give the feel of a roller coaster, with the coaches looking like roller coaster cars. It looks a lot better in storyboards, but the end result is just, well, not very good. I kind of feel like that maybe because of like tight filming schedules, or production was kind of rushed. They couldn't really make the episode as well as they wanted to. And I guess also the model limitations as well. But then, why did you make Rheneas the main character? But yeah, I said this before, but like, Peter Sam should have been the main character. Or, actually, no, Duncan should have been the main character. 'Cause of, his history with rock and roll. Why not something like that? I just don't understand why Rheneas. And then, like, the motivations behind Peter Sam and Rheneas, both in the original drafts and the final episode, feel out of character. Like, Peter Sam wanting to do more important work, and then Rheneas feeling like he's not good enough for the job. Like, you swap the roles of the characters, but you also swap their personalities too, so their motivations in either don't really make a lot of sense to me. And also, it's just kind of stupid that, like, Rheneas realizes he's on the wrong track, but he just keeps going. So he intentionally put his driver, the teacher, and the school children all in danger. Like, you just can't help but think about that. Like, that shouldn't matter, but you just can't help but think about that while watching. The grand opening, it kind of feels like Better Late Than Never, but Skarloey Railway Edition. It's the same premise. A character is late, another character is affected or is angry about it, then a character gets into trouble and suddenly the main character, realizes that it's not so bad to be late. I think that the episode itself, it's funny. I really like how Lady Hat got some focus again. And yeah, the humor with her and Sir Topham Hatt, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, just her reactions like, Topham, you cannot be serious, me writing that? And I want to get out. I know I talked over that part, but still, it's funny. I think Lady Hat is definitely the highlight of the episode. Yeah, I think the grand opening, while it kind of feels like a copy of Better Late Than Never, and again, Skarloey being the main character, that wasn't quite the right choice. But again, that's a nitpick. But you want to know how to fix the episode? You could just swap Rusty and Skarloey's roles. So Rusty is the one that's late, and because he's doing maintenance work on the new line or something, that's why he's late, but it turns out not to be such a bad thing. And then at the end of the episode, you could have Skarloey tease Rusty about being late. That feels like something that Skarloey would do. It's perfect. But yeah, as is, it's fine. It's, of course, that is just a nitpick, but, just a little thing to improve the episode. But yeah, I think it's a funny episode. It's nice that the humans got some focus. Because, especially with what we're going to watch after, where humans are barely acknowledged. Well, besides Sir Topham Hatt, but, we'll get there. And then Best Dressed Engine. Also a good Gordon episode. I don't really have much to say. For the release as a whole, I think that, the coloring of all the episodes, it looks very nice. And the Skarloey Railway, too, is very beautiful. And even, again, some digital, some things that I didn't notice, some, the sparkles, the sparkling, digital effects on the waterfall. Yeah, again, some things I just now noticed while watching. And then the song choice at the end with the red balloon, I think the build-up is wonderful. Like, I love the build-up. It's very tear-jerking. Like, yeah, I'll admit, it made me tear up. Like, I nearly cried. A song that has actually made me cry is the Island song. So, like, the red balloon nearly did that. But then you get to the main chorus and, yeah, that good feeling that you have is just gone. I kind of wonder, why the red balloon? It feels a bit of an unfitting song, like, although I guess there weren't any other celebratory kind of music videos in Season 7, and I guess since the red balloon kind of got some major focus in the episodes, or the grand opening gave some focus on the red balloon again, so, and also, like, it appeared in a lot of shots, so I guess that's why they chose it. I feel like that this release was originally intended to be in the classic series style, but was changed. There are some pieces of evidence why I think that this was originally meant to be in the classic series style. The intro sequence. It's just the opening credits. There's no Island of Sodor intro thing. And also the name boards too. And then again, the Mike and Jr. music video at the end. And I think the main menu too also has like the classic Thomas theme song as well. But then you might be asking, why would they change it? Well, I have 3 reasons. One reason that I have is, well, you know, just to be consistent with the TV airings at the time. Like, because in the UK, they also released a celebratory release called Bumper Party Collection, where there were 4 Season 7 episodes, and all of which had their rescores. So I guess it was just to be consistent with the TV airings, because, you know, like, a kid might watch an episode on TV, then they get a VHS or DVD that the episode is on, then they get confused when they hear a different soundtrack from what they heard on TV. The second reason, I think, is because I guess, like, since some of Robert's rescores didn't air on TV, they just wanted to use them on home media so that way his work wouldn't go to waste. But then you would also wonder, like, with Jack, because Mike and Jr. did the music for Jack, but when they were put on DVD eventually, they used the rescores. So, I mean, I'm not sure though. Like, again, this is just speculation. And then the third reason is, I guess that's just the masters that Anchor Bay had available to them. Because the Season 8 releases were distributed by Hit Entertainment, not Anchor Bay. So they just used those. But they weren't given the Hit era transitional pieces or the Island of Sodor intro bit. But yeah, I just feel like that this was supposed to be in the classic series style with the original Mike and Jr. music. I mean, on the back of the DVD, I mean, there's a price tag in the way on my copy, so yeah, I can't see it. But, like, I'll just throw up a picture from the fandom's wiki, where I think that it says, like music and songs composed by Mike and Jr., and that would also be on the Percy Saves the Day DVD. So, like, it says music and songs by Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell, but in the end credits, it says music composed by Robert Hartshorn, but then song composed by Mike and Jr. But, you know, like, all of this is just a theory. It's just something fun for you all. I think it's just something fun to think about, that this could have been in the classic style. It very well could have been in that style. You know, kind of like with I guess that the George Carlin edition of Thomas Gets Tricked. Like, some copies got out there. So I wonder if some original copies of this release had Michael Brandon's narration with the original music.
It was an exciting day on the island of Sodor. Good morning, called Harold. Annie and Clarabelle were full of happy children. Thomas was taking them to their annual sports day. Everything was ready for the day to begin.
I think I've rambled on long enough. Oh, yeah, I guess I should give it my rating first. I think I'll give this like an 8 out of 10. It might not deserve that high of a rating, but I really enjoy this release. I don't know, like, giving it a 7 just feels like it's not giving it enough credit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give it an 8. I mean, I guess if it was like like a couple of minor nitpicks, and then Reneus and the roller coaster. Like, the only things that are really bringing it down are Reneus and the roller coaster, and a few minor nitpicks within the episodes themselves. Thomas's Sodor Celebration. My copy is the 2009 Lionsgate DVD, so it doesn't have the 60th anniversary logo on the front cover. But bizarrely, on the pamphlet for the Hooray for Thomas DVD, it has the 60th anniversary logo on it, but the front cover of the DVD itself doesn't. Oh yeah, this also wasn't on the last
Thomas and
DVD,
friends,
so
making
I guess there's
tracks
another
to
thing
great
to add to my
destination.
speculation list on Hooray for Thomas, that little making tracks to destinations thing wasn't there. Oh, now it says Railway Stories.
It was a glorious summer day on the island of Sodor. Toby was collecting milk from the dairy. James was pulling passengers to Brendam docks.
Why are you telling us this? Toby and James don't
And
do anything in
Thomas
this
was taking
episode.
some
Why do we
workmen
need to
to
know
work.
this?
They would. I can't
Ew,
wait for the
fish
grand opening,
islands,
told Annie and
gross.
Clarabelle
I
excitedly.
forgot about
There's
these.
going to be flags.
You know
and
what?
a
Let's
big
leave
band.
a counter for how many times we see the fish islands. So there's
On the way
one.
to the-
You know, actually,
He was worried
this was an episode on the Greatest
good friends,
Stories,
Annie and
and I
Clarabelle
remember
were there
watching
to
this
help.
episode on that DVD.
Thank you, Thomas puffed to Annie and Clarabelle. I couldn't have done it without you.
What about your driver? Does it? Oh yeah, that's right. Drivers and firemen don't exist anymore, so he couldn't have helped
Thomas
you.
arrives.
Today, Annie and Clarabelle are to go for their refit.
He told Thomas.
Refit
you
of
must
what?
Take them to the workshop straight away.
The workshops? You mean the
But
works?
how will I take the workmen home? Asked Thomas.
You
They
can use
don't.
ordinary coaches
They'll
instead,
stay here
Mr.
for the night,
Hat.
said Sir Topham Hatt.
Yes. Thomas said goodbye to Annie and Clarabelle.
God, he was
sad.
never this
I
emotionally
don't know
attached
how
to
I'll
them.
manage the difficult bend without you.
But
he told
honestly,
his
this
friends.
is more focus that Annie and Clarabelle have
The
gotten.
next day, Thomas puffed
the
to
last-
the coach yard.
I don't know. I don't think they spoke at all in season 7.
Thomas went too fast and gave the coaches a mighty biff.
He did not bump
The
them that
coaches rolled
hard.
along the difficult bend, he puffed nervously. The difficult bend came nearer.
Look, you can see
and
the end of the
nearer.
set there.
Thomas was supposed to slow down.
They don't even try to
but he
hide
wanted
it.
to get, so Thomas went faster and faster.
He has a driver.
coaches rattled and
Another
shook.
fisheye lens. And then
Soon
again.
be over, soon be over, Thomas said to himself.
But then how does he derail
And
here?
soon it was.
Like bushes are obscuring the track, so that way, like, we don't see what happened. Like, what happened?
No
Did Thomas
one
trip
whispered.
over thin air? So Thomas doesn't need to go to the works after crashing into rocks. No?
Thomas trundled slowly
All right.
back to Tidmouth's shed.
Wait, I thought he needed to get the
Very
workmen.
sad.
What happened
He
to
wanted
that?
be back with-
Also, that shot of Thomas
Suddenly,
there,
Thomas saw
that
a line of
always that
troublesome
scared
trucks
me
rushing
when I was
towards
little.
They
I don't
had
know
come
why. It's just the
uncoupled
way
from
he just puffs towards the camera that it just
Cinders and
scared me.
ashes, cried
Yeah, go. Why are you just
Great
standing
stuff.
there, you idiot?
Slow down, said Thomas to himself.
Oh, good job.
Slow
Now you
down
remember.
and puff with care.
Good job, Thomas. You
Thomas
remembered.
applied his brakes. He slowed down and
I don't
puffed
think you need to
very
go that
carefully.
slow, but
He
okay.
made it all around the difficult bend, all by himself.
Yay.
I've done it, he tooted.
But then the trucks somehow get
So
around the
did
bend, no
runaway
problem.
trucks.
How? How is it that Thomas gets Thomas trips
Thomas
over
puffed
thin
as
air
fast
and
as
crashes
he
into a pile of rocks, but then the trucks don't come off
And
the
he
tracks
raced
at
into
all,
the station
despite
just
seemingly
in
going
time.
faster, maybe.
And quickly
The Series
changed
5
the
footage,
points.
ew.
The troublesome trucks hurtled into a siding. They
Although that
limped and
crash is
bashed
pretty
the
cool.
bumpers.
There were no buffers there, were there? Well, I don't care, but that was a cool
But the
crash.
station-
Wait, is that smoke from the trucks? If that is, I didn't
They were
notice
going
that.
to the-
Wait, why is Thomas going to the grand opening of
opening
the
was a
station?
great success.
It's Kelsthorpe
And the
Road.
new
That's a
station
mainline
looked
station.
wonderful. Save my new station.
What is that mouth shape?
You are.
Wait, Thomas is taller than Annie and Clarabelle. I just noticed that. Alright, we're off to an okay start, I suppose.
But everyone was jolly. The winter holidays were
I like it when they use jolly in the US dub.
The
It
station
sounds very
masters
British.
decorated-
Because, like, in America, I think we only use jolly
and
around
children were
Christmas
making
time.
Thomas worked hard
There's
all
the
day
string.
keeping the lines open.
Yeah, good job, Thomas. You totally
Thanks
cleared
to
the line
Thomas,
there.
everyone were very pleased. They wanted to thank Thomas for all his hard work.
Jeez, James was going so fast. And then Emily
When
was
all the
stopped.
tracks- Thomas was looking forward to Halloween.
Wait, hold on. Thomas cleared all those tracks? Not Donald and Douglas? Oh yeah, that's right. Donald and Douglas don't exist in this season.
He saw
Wait.
Harold the helicopter. They were planning a thank you surprise for Thomas.
A thank you
Hello?
surprise?
Remember, Toby, said Harold. Don't tell Thomas about the surprise.
Why do you tell him
Harold
that?
buzzed away,
You
puffed back
idiot,
in his
Harold.
yard.
Why did you say that? I love how Thomas doesn't
That
have the brain
afternoon, Thomas was puffing along the main
well,
line.
like, he somehow doesn't put the pieces together that maybe the
He saw
surprise party is
persons
for
waiting in the
him.
station.
I don't know why he doesn't think that.
Brightly colored boxes.
Brightly colored boxes?
Thomas
They're
was
called
cross.
presents. Also, why aren't those being transported
Later,
by
Thomas
road?
had to
I
stop
feel like
at a
that should be
signal.
transported by road.
Thomas secretly followed Emily. He puffed as quietly as he could.
Thomas, what are you doing? Now Emily somehow switched tracks.
Suddenly, Emily turned down one of the branch lines. But just as he got to the branch line, the signalman changed the points.
Wow, how convenient.
Cinders and ashes, cried Thomas. How will I ever find out what the surprise is?
Again, do you not just think that maybe it's
evening,
for
the
you?
engines were... Don't tell Thomas, said Henry.
Oh my god, you guys
Thomas
are
felt more
you
left
guys
out than
are
ever.
you
It
guys are
wasn't
the
fair.
worst at keeping
Everyone knew
secrets.
what the
God, you are all
Thomas'
so
theme crossed the
stupid.
way. At last, it was time to show Thomas the surprise.
Yeah,
But
you
no
guys
one
are the
knew where
worst at
Thomas
keeping
had gone.
secrets.
Why was he the only one not to know what the surprise was?
For the plot
If
to happen.
only they would tell him. Then
God,
Thomas
this is
heard
so
a noise.
childish.
And
By the way, Harold, you're stupid
Thomas
for
loved
just
pulling
blurting
carriages
out,
full of children,
"Don't tell Thomas,"
so he raced
when he
away.
was right there. Yeah, you're an idiot, Harold.
Soon he arrived
And
at
Thomas, the
Wellsworth
rest of your
Station.
friends are also stupid for just saying, "Don't tell Thomas," when you're right there.
Tom,
God, it's so dumb. But I do like the snow detail on top of Annie and Clarabelle there. And the station roof, too. If I have to say something positive about this
the
episode,
children were
you
very
know, the lighting,
excited.
honestly, the
They
lighting
all
here
wanted to
at
know
night
what the
looks pretty
surprise
nice. And the snow sets
Thomas
actually look
turned down
pretty
the
good
branch
here.
line, and at the bottom of the tree were lots of presents.
Oh, now you call them presents.
There was even
You mean
some
bright,
tinsel for
colorful
Thomas.
boxes?
It's the best surprise I ever had, Thomas puffed happily.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Not sure if, you remember this, Thomas. You got a medal for helping the children, remember that?
Percy
Oh my
is
God.
ready to leave the station.
Oh my god.
He's busting his buffers with excitement.
Hurry
Percy?
up!
Basically, that learning segment was how to, include annoying alliterations for, like, 2 minutes. And the way, like, a lot of those, things were being transported makes no sense.
island of Sodor
Yeah, the
is a
piano
busy,
on an
bustling
open
place.
truck, the pineapples, yeah,
There
it's
is
all
always
just
lots for
stupid.
the engine.
Arthur! Oh wait, oh yeah, he has a starring role in the episode.
Topham Hatt came to see.
But he came. Wait, the magic
The
buffers!
fishermen are
The
celebrating
magic
their
buffers are
biggest catch of
canon!
fish ever.
Percy first used them
Thomas,
by
you
Tidmouth
must help
Sheds and
Arthur
James and the
take
Queen
the
of
fish to the
Sodor,
docks.
and now Thomas used them here.
Thomas, there were lots of freight cars.
Remember this, they're saying freight
Thomas
cars.
had never.
Ugh, what's that awful stench? That
Then
is the
Arthur
stench of
arrived.
fish discovery.
Arthur warned Thomas that the route to Brendam Docks was bumpy.
Wouldn't Thomas know?
Only
I found it kind of like the way
Thomas looked at all
Michael
the
Brandon
freight
said
cars full of
Arthur to
fish.
sound like
didn't
author,
want to go
like a
slow and
book
steady.
author, you know?
he wanted to get his smelly job over with.
What was Thomas supposed to do?
Thomas
Just,
shunted all of the freight cars into a long line.
but there was only 2 tracks. What were you
and
expecting him to
puffed Out
do?
of the village.
Like there were only 5 cars in
Freight
front of
cars were
Arthur.
heavy
So,
and smelly.
like what was Thomas
Thomas
supposed to
was
do?
pleased
Take
his job
5
would
and then
soon be
go on
over.
the other track? And why are you pushing them? Why aren't you
But
pulling
then,
them? And then why are you taking the fish in open trucks?
The trucks
Or
wiggled
freight cars,
and they
whatever. And now they say trucks.
and they made Thomas's journey very bumpy.
And there's the pack scale
Some of the
Thomas.
fish was shaking loose. Yuck! Thomas gasped. I wish I'd taken fewer freight cars.
No, you wish that you should have been at the
Thomas
front.
pushed hard.
Or taken a
Pushed
brake
long
van
line of
too.
freight cars.
Honestly, I feel like this is
Started to
going
puff down
faster
the
than I
other side.
remember.
Salty was at the bottom of the hill.
Why?
He was waiting for a signal.
Huh? Why is he
didn't know
there?
Thomas was coming down the hill.
Why is who scheduled
Thomas was
this?
out of
Why is
control.
Salty there? What, is it just so that way this crash could happen?
Thomas.
Oh, how convenient there was a road right there.
Salty.
Why aren't you at the...
Thomas's driver
What?
telephoned for help.
What?
And
His
soon
driver
Tommy
wasn't-
clearing the tracks.
His driver
Thomas
was with
wondered
him?
What Sir Topham Hatt would say.
Oh my god.
He found out
Are
soon
you
enough.
kidding me?
You have caused confusion and
Oh my
delay,
God.
said Sir Topham Hatt. You must
His
learn to
driver
be
was
more
with
safe.
him though, and
Yes, sir.
his driver was with
Sorry,
him
sir,
the entire
Thomas
time?
felt sadly.
Oh my god, are you...
So this
Oh
time,
my-
Thomas shunted only 5 freight cars together.
And now you
He
decide to
took a deep
pull
breath,
them.
And he chuffed away.
Oh my god, I'm getting angry. This...
Little tricks. Hold back! They giggled. His coupling smelled of kippers, and his cabin smelled of cod. But he was
cabin?
working so hard, he forgot all about the smell.
Holy Christ, can we just skip this episode? I'm actually getting pissed off.
At last, he had just one more load to take.
Wait, they were just left on the main line? Oh my god, this is actually
But
stupid.
it
This
was
is...
nearly time.
God.
His buffers were back.
Oh my
But
god.
he got
The
to the
writers
docks
really are just
just
insulting
in
the
time.
audience's intelligence. And some of the fish are gone. Oh my... Can we just
Thomas
end
was
this?
very happy to say goodbye to the fish.
And I only know it's going to get
Then Sir
worse.
Topham Hatt came to
Oh hey look, it's a devil costume.
and the-
Wait, isn't that Tidmouth Sheds right there? I
Evening,
thought it was
Sir
only
Topham Hatt
noticeable in the
came to
widescreen
Tidmouth
crop,
Sheds.
but I guess not.
Percy thought the smelter's yard was spooky. He was worried about his friends.
Ooh,
Look out for ghosts.
spooky,
whistled
scary. You know,
It
it's
is
so
Halloween.
fitting. I'm watching a Halloween
There's no
episode
such thing as
in the
ghosts,
summer.
Thomas
Well,
said
actually,
cheerfully.
when I'm recording this, I don't even
just
think it's
silly
summer.
make-believe, added Emily.
Wait, Alexa, when's the first
They
day of
steamed
summer?
off to the-
In the United States, summer begins on Friday, June
The sun
20th.
was setting.
Okay,
It was
so
getting dark.
so when I'm recording this, it's not summer
Imagine
yet.
being- Air grew hotter, and the smoke grew thicker. When Thomas and Emily rolled by, they moaned and groaned. It sounded
Wait, isn't that like
was that?
Michael Angelus's
You
voice?
said there was no tenders and
Honestly, the
ashes,
atmosphere
cried
of the
Thomas.
episode so far,
Help!
yeah, it's
wailed
good.
Emily. Inside, chains clanked and strange shadows danced across the walls. Must be
Okay,
grave,
can we not
must
with the
be
flashing
grave,
lights,
Thomas
please?
puffed. But it was
There's a shot
spooky.
from Fergus Breaks the Rules.
She didn't notice the huge white tarp.
Why was there a tarp
It fell,
there?
covering her from
And
foot
wow,
to
how
foot
convenient.
plate.
Yeah, a tarp was just conveniently above her and landed
It's
right on top
coming!
of her when it needed
She
to.
steamed away as fast as her pistons could pump.
What is it with
Thomas
engines
thought
just
Emily was the
speeding
ghost,
up when
and
they
he
can't
raced out of
see?
the smelting shed.
First Henry, now Emily. Like, how, like, God, these guys are
The
stupid.
ghost is after
And then
me,
fisheye
cried
lens again.
Thomas. And Emily was right behind Thomas.
You mean in front of him? The music is actually really good. I like this.
Thomas
I really
and
like the
Emily raced
visuals
towards
here.
Tidmouth
That's
Sheds.
it's really good.
Harry, Bert, and Thomas applied their brakes. They stopped just in time.
No, they crashed to the back of the
Ghost is
shed.
after- But just then, Emily raced under a signal and the tarp flew off.
Wow, how lucky the tarp just happened to fly off, like at that exact
That's
moment.
no ghost. said
How come it
Percy.
didn't fly off
That's
earlier,
Emily.
huh?
The engines didn't feel scared anymore, but they did feel foolish. What is all this fuss and bother? He boomed.
It was us, sir.
For your punishment, you go back and collect the iron at once.
Why didn't you just ask them to do that in the first place?
sir.
Oh, yeah, because the plot needed to happen. Right. You know, why am I asking such silly questions? We already know the answers.
After all, there is no such thing as ghosts. It was all silly make-believe.
A weird thing, too, is that since they use a different ending shot, like you could still hear the ghost sound, but you don't see it. I find that kind of weird. I actually really like this song. Ew, what is this yellow filter? Ugh. It's season 11 before season 11 came out. Should I count this? I might as well. Yeah, I'll also count that too. Why not? Ew, what was that shot? That looked like stop motion. The frame rate was so choppy. No. What episode is next? Please be in... Okay. I kind of forgot what happens in this one. Series 6 footage. And it's stretched too.
Platforms
Hey,
was
look,
scrubbed.
the Alicia Body poster again.
Everyone wanted the
Don't know
railway
why that's
to
there.
look its best.
No, you want the railway to look spick and
At last, the
span.
big day was...
And this year, he is to give a special prize to the best engine.
No, he's
That
gonna
is
give a
top
prize
hat.
to the best dressed station.
So I want you all
No,
to
best
look
dressed
your
engine
best.
competition from
A special
Best Dressed
prize,
Engine.
Puff Tom. I do hope I'm number one and win a medal, Puff Thomas. A big cloud of stone dust whooshed down.
That's not stone dust,
landed
that's
right on top
stone.
of Thomas.
Why were you standing under the chute?
All I need is a good washdown.
Yep, so just abandon your
Thomas
work.
raced off. I'll still win first prize, Thomas huffed.
I mean, he is the
Steamed
number
off to
one
help
engine,
first.
so of course he's gonna win.
Thomas
Well,
was
oh, I
covered in
just,
soap
you know, just something I just thought about was
They
like the
were
writer's
scoured,
Bible.
scrubbed, and
Like the
brushed
equivalent
and
of the
buffed.
washdown is a
Percy
bathroom.
loved being washed,
So
but
this
now
is basically a
Thomas was
public
sad.
bathroom.
He thought he would
Like
never
anyone
look as
can
grand
watch
as
you,
the other engines.
anyone can watch you bathe. God. Ugh.
Jane-
Wait, why are you at the
And my
coaling
wheels.
plant?
The engines tried to find the sunniest spot in the coal yard.
And then we
So
can
James
blind Sir
backed
Topham
up.
Hatt so he can't see how dirty
Suddenly,
we
he
look.
bumped into a freight car. The freight car rolled into a lever.
Oh my god, how lucky
Then
is
there was
that?
a whooshing sound.
Wow,
Poured
how
out
convenient.
Everywhere. It poured onto the tracks. And Thomas and Percy won first prize. The railway inspector
who
gave them
could've
each
guessed?
a special rosette.
A really useful engine doesn't need help.
Yeah, okay, sure, Gordon.
Then Sir Thomas.
That's a very big job for a small engine, chuffed Gordon. You're bound to need some help.
This made Thomas cry.
I'm sorry, I thought you just said that
Hey,
really
engines don't
useful
need help,
engines don't
snapped
need
Thomas.
help.
We're really useful.
You're going back on what you just
And he
said,
puffed away.
you hypocrite.
Ooh,
Oh,
Thomas
remember
puffed.
this, Annie and Clarabelle are there. And
First,
Thomas's
Thomas
driver
collected the
also
chicken.
exists as confirmed by Fish, so his driver could remind him, Annie and Clarabelle could remind him, but also, why is Sir Topham Hatt allowing Thomas to do this? Like,
Next, Thomas
you
puffed
know
into
that
the
Thomas
valley.
was working all night, so why are you letting
All
him
the
do the
sheep were
job?
waiting for him. He started to get confused. Sheep to market, children to the farm.
Just ask Annie and
chickens to the school.
Clarabelle, or your driver, they exist.
Please unload the sheep, said Thomas.
What?
He should have said chickens, but now the sheep were unloaded.
What? Why? If you
Then
were
Emily
expecting
arrived.
sheep, why are you unloading
Emily
the
could see that Thomas
chickens?
was tired.
Oh my god.
Would you like some help? Asked Emily. No, thank you, puffed Thomas. Tank engines don't need help.
Oh my god, the only instance
Thomas
where
did
Emily
need
is nice to
help.
Thomas.
He was worn out. Thomas was terribly tired.
He was terribly tired. Why is there a train track
Only
that
the
goes to the
chickens were
school? Wait, why is Thomas taking the children
so
to school?
The
Why
chickens were
isn't...
unloaded.
What? Wait. Wait, hold on. Why
And
why
Thomas
isn't
bumped
Bertie
back to
taking
the
the
shed.
children to... Why isn't Bertie taking the kids to school? Why is Thomas doing that? And why did the teachers
Sir
unload the
Topham Hatt was in
chickens?
his office.
If you were expecting
looking
chickens,
forward to a
why did
nice,
you unload
long
the
street.
sheep?
Topham
Makes sense
Hatt
for the
arrived.
children to get off at the farm
Thomas,
because
you
of
have
course they would
caused
want to skip
confusion
school,
and
but
delay.
why did the teachers unload
Topham
the
Hatt told
chickens?
Thomas what had happened.
Why didn't they tell Thomas to
Thomas
go
was
back
upset.
and get the
He was
get the
very
children?
tired and needed
Why
some help.
are you blaming
Gordon
Thomas?
said a really useful
You
engine
knew
never
he was
needs
working
help,
all night.
Thomas had said.
Why are they
So
all
Thomas
at the
puffed
sheds?
away with his friends. I didn't mean to take you to the wrong place. We
That's
don't
okay,
mind,
Thomas.
said the
We
children.
wanted to skip
We had
school.
a grand day out to the
Oh my
painters.
god, I am
It is time
shaking.
for him to have a
I
fresh
am.
coat of paint.
God, that episode was just
Thomas
so
wonders
stupid.
could
That
be a
was
different
ludicrous. Like, Fish
What color could
was
Thomas
dumb
be
enough
painted
by
instead of
acknowledging
blue?
Thomas's driver was there when
What if
Thomas
he were
ha-
red like
when
James?
Thomas had complete control.
Then he would be the color of a Sodor postbox. Or the same color as Bertie the bus.
Why didn't Bertie take the children to school? Why did Thomas do
What
that?
if he were green, like Henry? Then he would be the color of grass.
Oh
or
my
leaves
god,
on the
I
trees.
I legit
Thomas
need to
thinks
just
red and green are lovely
Yeah.
colors.
I
He
need
doesn't
to
want to
lay
be
lay
blue
down
anymore.
or something. I'm actually
Then he puffs past Trevor.
Oh my god.
Trevor.
Thomas was
Can
doing
you see
exactly
anything
what he
else
was
that's
told
blue?
to do. He is a
Of
steam engine.
course.
Like, how is
The
it Thomas's
sky is
fault that, like, everyone
Rivets
got
can
off at
be
the wrong
blue,
places?
and balloons can be
Humans
blue,
unloaded
and
the
the sky
sheep.
is blue.
Children
Then
actively
blue is
chose
a
to
jolly
get off
good
at the
color for
farm
engines
when they
after
knew they weren't
all,
supposed to
says
be there, but
Thomas.
I'll give that a pass because,
Thomas
like,
is
you know, it
very
makes sense for
happy
children to
to be
want to skip
painted
school.
blue.
But then, like, again, why are the teachers unloading the frickin' chickens? Why aren't they asking Thomas to go back to the farm or, like, go back and get the children? Oh, hey,
Sir
look, it's the
Topham
refreshment
Hatt was
lady.
excited. The circus was coming.
Boo!
The
This
circus
was actually
too.
an episode I saw on
Percy loved the
PBS Retro
horses.
when I was on vacation last year.
Everyone wanted to collect the circus from Brendam Docks.
You know what? That kind of makes sense. Like, unintentional
Topham Hatt
continuity
came
with
to Tickler's
Henry and the
sheds.
elephant. You know,
He
because
had
Gordon
exciting
and Henry
news
were
for
jealous when
Thomas.
James got to pull the circus.
Thomas, you ought to
So why not
collect
just
the
have this
circus.
episode take place during that episode?
Thomas pulling the
Look, I'm
circus
trying to
sounded
think
like
positively
wonderful fun.
after the
What
dumpster
if there
fire
are
of an
too many
episode we
freight
just
cars
watched,
for you to
okay?
pull?
Another thing I noticed
Maybe
too
they'd
when I
get to
watched the
pull the
DVD
circus
for the
after
first
all.
time, it was so noticeable that,
Thomas
like,
puffed over to
this
Brendam
episode and the
Docks.
last episode, virtually the same plot.
Cranky was unloading the circus. Passengers and staff waved and cheered as he passed by. Never.
Oh yeah, I forgot Toad was in the episode. Hi Toad.
Thomas stopped
Sorry, I
at a
forgot
junction.
you were there.
James was
Yeah, how much
waiting
better
in the
would this
side.
episode be if Toad
James
was
thought the
acknowledged
band
and
sounded very
actually had a
jolly.
role in this episode?
If you
But then
want,
again,
you
Eddie and
uncouple some freight
Clarabelle
cars, he said
don't
hopefully.
talk
I can
either,
take them
so
for you.
it's literally the same.
didn't wanna miss
It's the
out on
same
any of the
episode. They're
fun.
not even trying to hide it. They're right next to each other. In the last episode, Thomas learned to share his
Thomas
work with
steamed
others. In the
on.
last episode,
But every
because
puff
you know
and
the work was
every
just too much
chuff
on his
got
own. Because you know
harder
chaos
and harder.
ensued. But like that wasn't even his fault. But here it is his fault. But
Thomas
yeah, he
passed
learns
through
the same
next station.
lesson.
Thomas's traction rods broke.
No, they didn't. Okay, now they
Thomas
are.
stopped for a
Oh.
telephone for help. Even the performers.
Yeah,
practicing
no,
their
I'm not
feet
doing this
made
anymore.
Thomas feel
Yep. I'm out. Bye. I'm not doing this anymore.
Thomas wished he had shared the heavy load. Soon, Percy.
Oh, it's over. Alright. Alright, I'm back. And it's over. Thank God. I literally don't know where to start. This was certainly a DVD. Like, it's either a 3 or a 4 out of 10 for me. I feel like I'm kind of leaning towards the 3. I just don't, yeah, this definitely doesn't deserve higher than a 4 for how much it does wrong. But then I feel like it would be an insult to give it less than a 3 because of what it does right. Which is kind of ironic because of how much I trashed the DVD already. What are the big problems with this DVD? there may have been something about this DVD that you may not have noticed before. And that is, well, pretty glaring. Yeah, Thomas is the main character in every episode on this DVD. There is no exceptions. And that right there is a big problem. So like when you have it be the same character that we follow all the time, it just gets stale and boring. Because like you just wish to have a little variety. You wish you could see other characters other than Thomas, and by extension, the STEAM team. Because we never really deter from them. Like, what happened to those other secondary characters we care about? I know that's not an issue exclusive to this DVD, and I know that later on, they thought that having Thomas be the lead role in every episode was a good idea. Like, with Hooray for Thomas, like, I really had nothing but good things to say, with a few minor nitpicks that weren't enough to make me dislike the release or bring it down for me. But then, like, you take Hooray for Thomas and do everything wrong, you get Sodor Celebration, where it's just the complete opposite of Hooray for Thomas. Where this time, I have nothing but negative things to say, with a few good things sprinkled in. But even then, those glimmers of good are not enough to save the release, or make me like it, or make me want to watch it again. I'm not gonna talk about each episode again because, well, yeah, this video is already running long, and I just want to get this done. But I feel like that, like, two major problems, well, I mean, I already mentioned Thomas being the main character in every episode was, well, not a good idea. But, like, there are two other problems with these episodes that have nothing to do with with how everyone is characterized. Problem number one. What exactly, what is the point of these stories being told with trains or Thomas the Tank Engine? Like, really, think about it. Because when watching these episodes and then thinking about them after, well, I have to wonder, like, what is the point of these stories being told with trains? Like, Thomas saves the day. I mean, I can see why a kid could relate to this, like, a child going to school for the first time, and because they feel safe around their parents and are so used to being around them, they feel scared going into a new, big, scary place that they're not familiar with. A kid needing to learn to do something without their parents there to guide them. But then, like, because this is told with Thomas, well, Thomas's driver is there. Like, in other episodes, we see Thomas's driver, like, calling for help. So that implies to me that Thomas's driver was just watching everything go down and did nothing to stop it. Like, Thomas could ask his driver for help, but he chooses not to. Because if he did, then the whole point of the story would just be ruined, and, like, the entire point of the episode is just nuked if Thomas's driver was acknowledged. And then Don't Tell Thomas, it's a story that can easily be told in other cartoons. And I'm sure it has, but I just don't know of any off the top of my head. What was the other problem? Oh yeah, the episodes are too long. Yeah, because the episodes are now 7 minutes. Well, something that the Unlucky Tug said years ago is like taking less plot and just stretching it out. And I agree, especially with episodes like Don't Tell Thomas, where it feels like that there's a bunch of filler in it. Because like the audience already knows what the surprise is for, but Thomas doesn't. So the whole episode is that Thomas learns about that there's some sort of surprise happening in the stupidest way possible, and then he's just harassing his friends asking, "What's the surprise?" and they won't tell him. And then, because no one is telling him, of course Thomas is gonna get upset, and then he leaves. And none of his friends cared. It's only when they need him, that's when they can't find him. Yeah, I might as well just end this. So, yeah, I'll be taking a break from this series for maybe a few weeks. Happy 4th of July to my American viewers, and, have a good day.